Hello? Yeah. No, I wasn't sleeping. Why would I do that? No, I'm literally walking through the door now. All right then, bye. Oh no, I think I'm in trouble. Am I in trouble? Oh, do you reckon I can make it there in time? Challenge accepted.
Well. Looks like it's my time to shine. Without Tom here to run the show, I guess it's up to me to say, ladies and gentlemen, welcome.
There we go. The cheek of it, unbelievable. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to week 6 of the Elite Series. It may be cold outside, but the action inside this arena really is hotting up. Some of our teams are fired up with their sights firmly set on the playoffs, whereas other teams, I won't mention any names, really do need to ignite that spark to see out their ambitions. Last week, Inferno was the battleground of choice for 3 of our matches, and I tell you what, that provided some epic moments.
You just stepped in the danger zone.
Stan comes through, 4 kills in the round, makes it look easy. Oh, ace from Zinken. Oh my God, what are you doing?
There we have it, a moment of class.
Nice. What we gonna do?
And the double comes in from B-Kill.
Loza absolutely demolishes the opposition. It is gonna be a method victory.
Breathtaking, outstanding play.
Heading into week 6, it's all still to play for at the top of the table as teams jockey for position to ensure they get the best possible finish to the regular season. The final places will determine who faces who in the playoffs, so it is essential to get over the line and avoid the other heavy hitters. Reason, Endpoint and Epsilon look set to advance to the knockout portion of the season, with each team sitting on 13 points. Method's playoff hopes were dealt a blow last week with the loss to fellow UK side Endpoint, but will still feel they're in a prime position to nab the 4th spot and progress. Hot on their heels, however, are a resurgent Team Envy in 5th, who will fancy their chances at stealing it away in the final 2 weeks of the regular season. Excel and Infused in 6th and 7th have little left to play for other than pride, but the old adage about the dangers of wounded animals make them a tricky proposition in the final 2 weeks. Prophecy still sit in last place, but they'll be doing all they can to finish as high up in the table as they can and avoid that dreaded wooden spoon. Ugh, nobody likes a wooden spoon, especially... Anyway, it doesn't matter about wooden spoons. Look, you're beautiful people. There's 2 beautiful people down here that I have not seen for a good whole 2 weeks. Snods, Jackie, gentlemen, welcome back from Korea.
Thank you.
North or South? It was South, wasn't it? South,
yeah.
It's good,
yeah.
right?
And Romania as well, but we'll forget about that.
Okay, well, there you go. You're back, important. I know you will have caught up on everything that's been happening. So what have you seen and noticed the last couple of weeks from these
The biggest thing that stands out for me is the fact that Endpoint are still performing very well. Obviously, Epsilon and Endpoint both on 4 points and 1 point away, essentially. Sorry, 4 wins, 1 loss. 1 point away from guaranteeing that top 4 position. So far, obviously, apart from that, everyone else is fighting for that 4th position.
Yeah, how good was the barbecue?
It's really good, mate. Korean barbecue is always absolutely lovely, isn't it? It's spicy, it's heaty.
It's got everything.
It's like the Gfinity arena.
Thank you.
It's always full of life. It's resplendent.
Oh, beautiful stuff. So looking forward to the fixtures that we've got coming our way today. We've got 4 brilliant matches. Is there any matches out of those 4 that stand out for you?
So the thing is, the one opening up the show, Tom,
yeah.
It's always a nice little team for me. It's Endpoint.
Okay.
I've got to give some love to my boys. But the only thing is, they're missing out a crucial member of that team.
What?
You know who he is. He's little, he's small, but he's mighty. And unfortunately, Jakey's not here.
Oh,
They've got
right.
no coach, they've got no power play from Jakey. What are they going to do? You need Jakey behind you.
Bravo. Beautiful stuff. And I'll tell you what, a player that played for them last week, Thomas, he is back, Cuban Thomas. So you reckon that Endpoint Epsilon? What about yourself, Snods?
For me, it's the Envious versus Excel game. Obviously, the battle for trying to claim that 4th position. If one of those teams lose, they're out for the running.
Ooh, well,
Exactly.
it's all to play for. Gentlemen, so lovely to have you back. You've added a, what do they call the French quote, a je ne sais quoi to the proceedings, which I look forward.
What did you just say about my mother?
I have no idea, mate. I got a C at GCSE, and I was basically just blagged it. Listen, right now, we've met two of our casting duo. We need to meet someone else on the team, someone who's got equal amount of flair, always looks incredible, just like me. It's my sister from another mister. It is my absolute doppelganger. It is Lottie Van Praag. Where are you?
Hello, bro. Nice to see you again for this week. Well, actually, I'm backstage, Tom. I'm going to be the eyes and ears of the Elite Series behind stage. As you can see, all the boys behind me are just preparing for games. I'm going to be getting their insight before games, more importantly, how they're feeling after the games, and a little bit of gossip backstage as well. But we also want to hear from you guys too at home. So please get in touch with us. Tell us what you're feeling about the games and how they're going and your opinions. Tweet us at Gfinity and make sure you hashtag the Elite Series. Tom, it's back over to you because I want to see how these games are going to go.
Indeed you are. Now, gentlemen, I'll walk away from you for a second. See you in a bit. I'm going to walk over to these two resplendent gentlemen. One man who tried to steal my job. What's going on there, Harold? Harold, what's going on?
Hey, you give me an opportunity, I'm going to take it. If you're not going to do your job, I'll do it for you.
Strong words, but absolutely on point. And SEO, lovely to have you back. You've been a sort of a regular attendee every week. Not missed a week yet?
Not missed. I don't plan to miss any, actually.
Okay,
so
fair enough. So you're definitely
hopefully.
not going to steal my job. Thank you very much. What stood out for you in the last 5 weeks when we move into week 6 now?
I feel like it's the sign of better British teams overall.
You carry on talking. I'll just do this, mate. It's very important.
Yeah, sure.
There we go.
But overall, like, the UK side's been performing a lot better. Like last season, we only had one UK side make the playoffs. This season, we're looking at potentially 2. So it's a big improvement overall, and they've beaten the EU sides regularly.
Yeah, indeed. What about yourself, Harold?
Oh, I think this is a very exciting week. We've got a spectacular first game. I think 2 of the front runners in the tournament. This could very well be our finals we're watching today. So a very exciting game indeed.
Yeah. Now listen, Esther, we've got to talk about it. So much great action last week, and I already mentioned it in the show. Inferno was the battleground of choice for 3 of the matches. Now there was some beautiful play at times. There was also some play where some players will want to forget about that. So looking at the winners and losers from last week, let's look at the winners to start with.
Yeah, so overall, we've got an easy prediction showing, really. Epsilon and Reason have both become winners last week. They secured, essentially, the playoffs. They've got head-to-head advantages, Reason at least, ahead of Endpoint and Epsilon, which basically means if they win out, they've got guaranteed top seed no matter what. Epsilon, they beat an Infused side, which were coming back at them quite well, actually. They started off quite strong, and then overall, they get the win, which is all that matters at the end of the day. As well as that, though, we had 2 players having good performances that we kind of been wanting to see from them. Fry, this season he's been a bit questionable at times, not had that great performances. Last week he had 28 kills, he was picking up the AWP again, phenomenal play. Jax, somebody we saw last season, he was top 5 in ADR, kills, all the stats. He had 25 kills, it was a perfect performance again. He's
come back just at the right time for Envy. Who had a week to forget?
Well, it's been a season to forget, to be honest. For XL and Infused, XL, Infused and Prophecy. Last season, they were battling out for playoff spots. This season, they're essentially facing elimination. Prophecy are already out. XL and Infused need to win this week if they have a chance of getting at it. And even then, if Method win, it's out of their hands anyway. So it's kind of just a season to forget and maybe just look towards the future rather than think about this season, because there's nothing to play for at this point.
And we're seeing in the shot there, Dancy's with the AWP there, and wasn't really quite his forte week, was it?
No, it's something I've been looking at the past few weeks. He's come into the lineup as the AWPer, and last week at least, he had, I think it was 0 ADR after 7 rounds, which you just can't have that. It's really not good enough. Obviously, he's not as experienced as some of the players who are playing these days, but it's just something you need to kind of improve on, really.
You do indeed. Now, for anyone joining us for the first time, one way of measuring how good a player is performing based on their ratings. So just to break it down, what is the ADR, SEO?
So ADR is average damage per round, which typically you have about an average about 70 typically in a game. So anything above that is above average and can be deemed exceptional if you have above 80, for example. So players who are considered stars will probably have about 80, 85 minimum every week, and they'll be consistently putting that out. Weaker players, such as support players, will probably have about 65, but it's still contributing at a decent level.
OK, let's look at the top performers when you measure how good the CSGO players are up there. Let's start with the elite rating. Now, just to break that down, that is made up of what, Harold? or SEO, because it gets quite convoluted in terms of what it actually assists, but it's everything that they use, the way they use the utilities, etc., etc.
Yeah, it's a combination of all the kinds of stats available in the game, essentially. So I believe it's the average of about 10, assuming you've got 10 players in the server, it's 100 divided between the 10, and obviously if you're performing well, you get given a bigger portion of it.
Look at that, Cube and Thomas right at the top. Moving on, there's 3 Endpoint players there, so you know it's going to be a slobber knocker of a match that we kickstart things today in week 6. We move on to the highest average damage. We just discussed that. Surreal. He's in both the elite rating and the ADR. What can you take from that when a player's in the ADR?
I feel like it's just contributing at a consistent, manner, really. Like contributing 93 damage per round on average is phenomenal, honestly.
Yeah. Especially as an entry fragger, perhaps it.
Oh yeah, I mean you do have to put these stats into context, of course, because certain players like Thomas, he's only played 1 game and he had a really good game, so his stats are going to be somewhat inflated from that, and it does, you have to look at it with a bit of context behind it. Then you've even got Jakey in there.
A pinch of salt. Yeah. Well, Jakey played one week as well.
That's the coach, of course.
But Basso has been a regular performer, a highest kill death ratio, 1.32.
Yeah.
And then another important way of calculating everything, most clutch kills. Now that is about the last round, or in the round, there's only 1v a certain amount of the opposition. Connor at the top there, but yet, is it enough for Excel?
Well, the thing is, you have to look at it and you have to say, why are they being put in a position where they have to get clutch kills all the time? So you have to look at that kind of a stat and say, okay, fantastic, when he's in a clutch situation, he can do it, but why is he being put in that many clutch situations? To be able to get 9 clutches, think how many he hasn't got. Think how many times he's not been able to get those clutch kills, and how you have to look at the stats in context. And unfortunately, some of them are slightly less exciting.
Skew-iffy. All right, context. We've got yin and yang here, the positivity and negativity, but with reason, that is.
No, not just reason. It's all the teams that applies to.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Good point. Listen, SEO. If you were to pick from week 5, maybe potentially a dream team. Now, I asked you this yesterday. Have you put it together, the dream team?
Yeah, I've definitely got a dream team in mind. So first off, we're going to lead IMI, IGL, come straight in. They had 13 rounds in their T-set against Method last week on Inferno, which is a map statistically you don't normally get above about 9 rounds anyway. 13 against a team that are challenging for the playoffs, phenomenal. Fry had a fantastic week on the AWP, and I'd probably put him in there as the AWP in this situation. 28 kills, it's hard to not put him in there. Jax, Thomas and Tessus lead the way in their, at rifle section. So Jax had a phenomenal week, Thomas, Tessus, they've all been consistently putting out last week. And honestly, having that brute force entry throwing into a site would be a scary sight.
Yeah. Sorry I didn't ask you, Harold, for that dream team, but would you agree with SEO there?
You see, I wouldn't be able to put a dream team together. I never sleep. I'm always working hard on the counter.
Okay, fair enough. Well, gentlemen, thank you very much for clearing everything there. We're all up to speed. So we're not messing about with our first fixture of the day. It's a top-of-the-table clash that could have monumental impact on the outcome of the tournament. Endpoint, who can confidently claim to be the best British team in the tournament right now, have the hopes of the nation riding on their shoulders as they look to overcome an Epsilon side boasting some of the best players in the tournament. Listen, guys, does that wet your whistle just a little bit, just a teeny little amount? Well, look, it's good. Let's get into it. Listen, gentlemen, I want to talk about this a little bit more because everyone has wet their whistles. We're all ready to do this. We've got the lineup for Endpoint. Now, as you mentioned earlier, no Jakey in this one. Does that sadden you in some respect?
Absolutely. I mean, on a serious note, I do think a coach is a very, very important role in a team. Now, the thing about this is Jakey is a lot less in-game coaching, whereas he's out-game coaching. So, he's living in the team house with them, he's putting the strats together. Of course, Thomas isn't in that team house with them, but, they're still having all of that experience put into it. They're getting a lot from that. And so not having Jakey on the stage with them, perhaps it may have a slight detriment, but I don't think it's the biggest of losses, no offence to Jakey. He's done the work he has to already, he's put the groundwork in place, so they should be able to build off the back of that. But this is their most important game so far in the season. This is the most challenging game they're going to have. So whether they need all their assets, all their eggs in one basket, who knows? Well, let's not talk about eggs because they break, and we don't want these guys to break before the match. But you can see some of their results coming through on the screen right now. That game against Method really did highlight how dominant they have been at 16-7.
Yeah, it was really interesting for me. I predicted Method to win just based on the start bar, but they just came out swinging, honestly. It was a crazy start. I think it went up to like 9-0 at one point, and they just did what was needed of them, really. Like, it's beating another team who they might see in the playoffs, potentially. If they finish second and Method finish fourth, that would be the playoff matchup. So I'm just interested to see how Method react to it, to be honest.
Yeah, indeed. 16-7, that's quite a beating for Method, and that would have left them sort of licking their wounds and crawling, maybe crawling away from the arena?
Oh, well, I should think so, indeed. You know, they're the second best team in the UK currently. They have the firepower. They just didn't show up on the day. They let Endpoint get going, and as soon as Endpoint get going, they're not going to stop. They're like a steamroller. So, you know, disappointing, but they can look back on it. They can say what went wrong, what went right. They can build off the back of it, hopefully, and that's what they have to do, unfortunately. It wasn't a very good performance for them, but
that showed how dominant Endpoint were. And Stan, and we've talked about it before over on the screen over there, Harold, you've discussed how good Stan is. Is he maybe potentially an argument for being one of the best UK players at the moment?
I definitely think so. I was thinking about it a few weeks back. He's potentially in the form of his life at the moment in terms of playing. Like, he's been phenomenal during the team house, like at times, online, here. He's been playing incredible. Like, it's been something we haven't seen. Like, we didn't see it from him last season on Method. Maybe he was getting, you know, put into slots that he didn't like, sort of being played positions he didn't like, that sort of stuff. But now he's coming through and, you know, showing his best standard, technically.
Yeah, and complement that with the fact Cuban Thomas, and we all call him Cuban because in season 1 he went on a holiday in Cuba. This is how names start. But Cuban Thomas is back in the fold, and I tell you what, he was deadly last week.
Yeah, fantastic performance. You know, he's one of those players where there's no pressure on him whatsoever in this game. You know, he has no reason to feel pressured, so he can just do what he wants. He can hop around, jump around, take shots, and he can just enjoy himself, and that's exactly what we saw. We saw him all over the map, finding frags left, right and centre, and he just took advantage of the enemy team, and as soon as Endpoint got rolling, they were gone.
And that's what made him the Omen by HP Week 5 MVP, which is not that easy to say, but he was, because he was such a dominant display from what Harold said.
Can we call it the MVP by Omen by HP?
Yeah, right, you just did.
Can we do that?
Yeah, you just did it. Cool. The tagline's been made by Harold, but he is going to be a vital part, and that should put a bit of fear in Epsilon today.
I definitely think so. It's just the raw ability. Like, he has the potential to come out and kill like 3 players in 10 seconds or something crazy. So it's just having somebody who can do that. They've got multiple people who can do that, in fact. It's just kind of a scary line to go against. Like I mentioned, entry fragging, he can just go into a site and it changes the whole thing if he kills them all.
OK, well, listen, thank you very much, Csgo. Thank you, Harold. Listen, one thing that might account for the recent upturn in Endpoint's fortune is their new team house here in the UK. We're a nosy lot here at Gfinity, so we bagged ourselves a cheeky little invite to pop along to the new pad and take a peek.
Hey guys, welcome to the Team Endpoint CSGO house. Come on in. This is a bunch of our sponsor staff, HyperX, keyboards. In here we have the living room where we spend most of our nights, to be honest. Game of Monopoly as well, played that a couple of times.
I think living in the house has been good so far. I think we just all need to get used to each other and make the experience even better.
It's been all right. I mean, obviously the house helps everyone focus a bit more. Probably the biggest issue is waking people up.
Stanley, wake up, let's go!
Once people are up and out of bed and everyone sort of has their morning cup of tea and gets in the zone, then it's good.
We have our tea station where we make most of our tea. Very English.
Milk first, or I'm not going to do milk first. I'm going to get judged.
You're a British team.
I know, I'm going to get judged. Probably turning into the mum of the team would probably be the biggest challenge. I've sort of had to drive everyone around everywhere. I'm the only one that brought their car, getting nagged constantly. So yeah, that's been a bit of a challenge. Into the garden, and a side garden at the back, which no one's been into yet, so it's a bit of a surprise. I don't know what there's to say about this. Lots of weeds and gardening. So just outside the front of the house, we have the gaming room, where we spend most of our days and some of our nights. In here, we have our own stations. I think when we first moved in, we saw the improvements already, but it has helped a lot, being able to talk to each other out of the game, like face to face.
Max with a double, Max with a triple. Team Endpoint are climbing up that table.
Now being the best team in the UK is fine, but I think it's more important for us to stay as the best UK team and show that we've stayed together and show that we've kept at it.
Yes! Yes, please, Stan wearing shorts in this cold weather. Love it! Listen, the key to success, buy yourself a house. Also have a tea station, which they use most of the time. Where do they make the tea when it's not in the station? Good question, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Paradox.
And it doesn't look like Mike Max has been in the garden much there. Listen, I've got to ask, Harold, they are having incredible success. What did you put that down to in terms of their decision-making?
Well, goodness, let us have a look at this example. Now, there's many things we can put it down to. We can put it down to the amount of roster changes they've made over the many years that this trio, duo has been together. You know, we can get a lot from that. Anyway, let's have a look at this very round. So,
stop digging out SEO.
Excuse me. What we've got here is we've got a 4 versus 5. So the advantage sits firmly in the hands of Method right now. What they can do is try and slow this down, head over towards that A bomb site. They know that they should be able to find an advantage here, even if they just trade in. There's only 3 players there. Now, it's a good call from Endpoint, so they've put their 3 players there. And defending it, well, it should be difficult. It should be difficult. Method should be able to do something. Stan, he hears some movement, so he jumps down. He says, I'm here, come get me, come get me. He finds 1 kill, he gets traded out, fine. It's a trade. Still the advantage sits in the hands of Method. It's still a 3 versus 3. They know the position of 1 player until a push comes in. Why push there from Crucial? That's a very bad decision, all right? And so in turn, Endpoint are able to take themselves the 1-man advantage. Now, this is the point where we see another small mistake from Method. They know the position of 1 player and they have utility. They have 2 flashes and 2 smokes. Why they haven't chased that kill down, tries to take down Thomas. Instead, they're going to go over towards Imi. They're going to try and take this B bomb site, and Imi, he's got a bit of an inkling. He says, guys, come on over. Come down to mine for a tea party, if you will. And they do. They come on in. He throws his flashes. Bit of utility goes in. Happy days. And rock on Endpoint. Method now moving into that bomb site. They're going to take full control, but Mighty Max has arrived, he's on point, he finds the kill. Bye-bye, Surreal, see you next round. And the round's won. Endpoint looking very, very strong there.
They didn't do it. Do you reckon they do wave, so you see in the next round?
You can't actually wave in Counter-Strike.
Well, you can wave. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But they are playing very, very well, which is, you point out, as a team. And compare that to Epsilon as a team. There's been a few changes in and out. Barbar returns. Do you think that he's beginning to remold this team and it's beginning to settle?
I believe it's more like settling now, actually. Like, so about 3 weeks ago, spoke to Krill about it. He was like, I'm just going to let Barbar do what he wants with this team, let him make it his own team, which, as we've seen the past few weeks, it's kind of been slowly getting there. They had a loss against Reason, which was quite unfortunate. Like, Zio put in a good standing performance at that time. But then they're kind of just slowly building on that way. It's obviously it's a slow process. You can't really rush. You know, Rome wasn't built in a day, as they say.
Well, Rome will not be built in a day. You can attempt it, but it won't happen. Are they likely to make it all the way to the final then?
I'm not too sure. It depends on the playoff situation. Like, this game's quite big for that overall standing situation. So if Epsilon, say they lose today and they get 10 rounds, they'd be on 14 points. Endpoint be on 16, and then depending on the Reason result, Reason could be on 16 or 14 or 13. Yeah. So overall, it kind of decides if they'll be second or third, or potentially first, but the head-to-head matchup goes against them at the moment.
Now, a man who knows a lot about coaching and the philosophy of it all, Harold, how important is team chemistry to winning?
Absolutely key. Absolutely key. And you know, you can have the most skilled team in the whole wide world. If they can't work together, they're just pug stars. They won't get much done. Pug stars, of course, means pick-up game. And if you're a pug star, it means you're good on your own, but not good with the team. That's exactly why we use the term.
But I suppose the idea is, if you can socialise well as a team, you'll perform well as a team.
Of course, yeah. You know, there's so much in Counter-Strike which is synergy. So if you know what your teammate might do in a certain situation, if you know perhaps what your in-game leader's thinking, then you can sort of work around him, help him to be better, help your teammates to be better, and it all meshes together into one happy family. It is, after all, a team game, and what is there none of in team?
Oh, OK, fair enough. I thought I always get that wrong. I'll tell you what, though. How about this for chemistry and bonding of the Epsilon boys? Whoa! Hello! Cheeky jacuzzi time from these boys. This is from Jay-Z Walkins. Had a great time at the Epsilon Villa. Well, I was showing off. With unlimited drinks, jacuzzi, going home tomorrow. There you go. So they bond well. That should help them, as you just said then.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know what was being shouted over from Snods and Jackie. They couldn't believe the picture there.
Loutish youths, I believe.
Guys, we'll come across to you in a second. Unbelievable, interrupting us. Listen, let's talk about Kevzy. He came down here, sat by the desk. He's been pretty important and an integral part of that team.
Yeah, definitely. He's been up there stats-wise, just contributing week in, week out. It's important to have people who are capable of doing that sort of thing, really. Like, you need to have someone who's always consistently putting out performances when needed of him. Like, there's one week he might not have it, and then that could be the difference between a win and a loss, technically.
OK, and in terms of Kevzy with his stats, I mean, we'll show those in a second, but it's just that confidence he seems to be playing with at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, every time you see him go into a site, he's loving it, he's having a great time, finding frags all over the place, and well, when you see a kill like this, all you can do is be a little sad.
Okay, how do you counteract that? So your Endpoint, how do you counteract that? You just throw Thomas in the mix and say, hey, deal with Kevzy.
Honestly, you can kind of counteract it in a few ways. Like, you know he's kind of confident, so you'll know, chances are he'll just take aim battles with you, no matter what. Like, he'll just come at you, won't use his utility much, he'll just take his aim and have a straight fight with you, which, if you know he's going to do that, you can always just kind of work around in pairs, make sure you do get the trade if things do go wrong, technically. So, like, if you're on the T side, you get a trade 1-for-1, that's perfect. Like, you know, it's 4v4, but you've got the territorial advantage.
Okay, I don't know why people say this, but they say, a little birdie's just told me in my ear that we've got some vetoes coming now. To explain that to everybody, there are 7 maps to choose from, and the teams take it in terms to say, I don't want to play that map. So we can see now Baba and Imi, both IGLs, who will start saying, I don't want to play that map, and then that map will be taken off.
Tom, I've got an interesting question for you, if you don't mind. While they haven't quite come up yet, what are these 7 maps?
Off the top of my head, Overpass, Train, Nuke, Cobble, Cash. You've also got Mirage. How many have we got left? One more. Come on, mate, don't do this to me. It's on screen, it's Inferno.
Very good. I mean, you cheated, but... I mean.
Did I cheat or did I use resourcefulness? So there you go. Let's talk about them. Inferno, Overpass, Cash, and Train.
So we're not seeing Inferno, which got played 3 times last week, which is not much of a surprise. Nuke is left in. Endpoint have the choice to pick it, and what else? Mirage and Nuke. They played Mirage quite often a few weeks ago, but with Thomas, it's kind of an interesting mix. I'd be very surprised if they do pick Nuke, but you know, it's the spice of having a stand-in, I suppose. Taking a long time to pick this.
This is a tough one. He's saying, what do he's
giggling?
Really thinking about it.
He's really
giggling
thinking
away.
I don't think I've ever seen Imi giggle this much at the fact that, because I want to see Nuke, everyone wants to see Nuke, please don't tell me he's got the choice of Mirage. Oh! Unbelievable scenes!
Oh, good.
Unbelievable scenes! We've only seen Nuke once in Season 1, and it's happening in Season 2. This is a beautiful moment. Is this not a beautiful moment? A beautiful moment. A beautiful moment?
Very beautiful.
Not sure about that.
Not sure. Why are you not sure?
I just feel like it's a bit of a team-oriented map. But we have had, you know, they've had time to think about the game, and they know that Nuke tends to come down to the last little round. So depending, if you were to veto second, you get the choice of map at the end. So if you have done some sort of prep, any sort of, like, you know, going over some strats, maybe setups, that sort of thing, picking Nuke is potentially to throw the other team off, honestly.
Well, Epsilon, we know how strong they potentially are and can be. In terms of Endpoint, does that show a weakness from them that they're not going to take them on a map, the other 6 that are normally predominantly used? Or does it show a bit cunningness?
I think it shows a bit of guts. Imi says, you know what? All right, we'll take it. Have it, go on. And, well, you know, it's yet to be seen who's going to prevail on that one, but maybe they've got something up their sleeve.
Indeed. Well, thank you for putting me on a test of the 7 maps. I think I passed the test. But Harold, who is going to pass the test and get the win today?
My vote goes to Team Endpoint.
And why?
Because that's where my vote goes.
All right, Essio. He loves to talk sometimes. He doesn't and other times. But Essio, please help me out here. In terms of Endpoint, are you going to go for them or are you going to go for Epsilon? Explain your reason.
Part of me wants to say that Epsilon will win it just because of the way that they've kind of looked in a few weeks. They've always left Nuke towards the last veto. It feels like they're kind of comfortable on it. But Endpoint picking it makes me think that they've got something in the bag for it. So I'm going to go with Endpoint.
So how do you approach a map like Nuke?
It's
in terms of the CT side being more favourable.
It's usually CT favoured, but like before there was a different version of Nuke which was heavy CT sided. But now they kind of redone it so you can get good T sides going. However, it's just the fact you need to have perfect rotations, perfect communication, which typically you wouldn't see with a stand-in. Like, it usually kind of throws you off. You have to change your setup. They have to adapt to a new role, that sort of thing. So it's an interesting thing, really. You kind of have to weigh up the pros and cons. Like, you've got the potential to throw them a curveball, potentially have some really good aggressive T sides, or your CT side will be lacking. So it's just a bit of a mix-up, really.
Okay, a mix-up indeed, but both gentlemen are going for Endpoint. Guys, what do you think? Well, I'll tell you what, I can head over to the casters over here, fresh back from South Korea, back in the Gfinity arena, and we have ourselves a Nuke. Gentlemen, what do you see happening with this map and between Endpoint and Epsilon?
Do you want to start it off, mate? Yeah, fitting, really. Should be a good one as we work our way through. Obviously, Nuke to open up as we come back in. Tom, a fantastic map, obviously one of my favourites, back from Source. Never really see it too much these days. It's kind of fallen out of love.
Why not?
It's just not very good, is it? It's pretty average, to be fair.
But so then why avoid it? Is it just because of its average and you can't really get a stranglehold on the map and then force your team?
I do know you love choking.
Yeah,
but
okay.
obviously, in that scenario, Tom,
well, someone's going to have to. Someone has to lose.
You've got to really get in there, got to get the grip on with both hands. It's a lot of hard work. It takes a lot of forearm strength. That's why Sonny's always quite good at it.
Okay,
but
well, that's fair
for
enough.
these teams, more so for Endpoint as well, it's just going to be interesting for me. Because again, it's more of a mixed side right now. You can tell they're not fielding the full roster. Thomas is coming in. Thomas is a big boy. He loves a Cuban. He loves a big frag. He wants to come in here, sort of make a name for himself. That's what I'm expecting to see. A lot more slower, sort of high-octane CS, holding angles, a lot less strategy.
Why was Imi, a guy that does not tend to laugh that much,
Right,
he was really chuckling away there? Is it because he saw Barbar's face?
Yeah, I think he just couldn't believe the fact that Epsilon hadn't batted out. Obviously, first season Gfinity, Nuke was one of the first bans. It was a map that they didn't want to go anywhere near. And the fact that Season 2, new roster, different faces for the Swedish side, which means, you know, they're going to be taking the risk. And that's what Nuke is. It's a big risk for these teams. So that's why you usually see it get banned out. There's a lot of uncertainty with it.
OK, now before I go back to this naughty gentleman, what is your prediction for this? Endpoint or Epsilon? Are you going to follow Herald and SEO?
It's a hard call because if players aren't hitting their shots on Endpoint, this could be 69 in favour of Epsilon, but vice versa, it could be 69 to Endpoint if they're performing, and I think they will do. So on home soil, I think Endpoint are going to take it 16-12.
It's gone Endpoint. What says ye, Jackie?
The thing is, as the old nursery rhyme once prophesied,
here we go.
Barbar black sheep, have you any wool?
Yeah.
Yes, sir, yes, sir. 3 bags full. But today, he's got nothing. There's nothing in the bag. It's absolutely empty. This is Endpoint winning.
Loved it. OK, well, there you go. It's a clean sweep for Endpoint. Gentlemen, I'm going to roll back over there to the man, Herald, who tries to steal the show. But I'm not going to touch his arms at all. But listen, gentlemen, I'll leave it with you. This is going to be a great map with Nuke, Endpoint versus Epsilon.
Oh, yes. It should be good. Nuke, obviously, a little bit of a wild one that comes out occasionally. Hides in the bushes, tries to jump out at you, so it's quite scary.
Yeah, most people avoid it, of course. As you said before, it's only played once in Season 1. This is the first time we're going to be seeing it in Season 2 as well. In the battle between Endpoint and Epsilon. Obviously, the first season we saw Method versus Excel. And obviously, we saw Excel win that Nuke matchup. And that plays the whole factor of the risk versus reward, right? What happens if your smokes, your executions don't work, and the firepower becomes your real commodity into these rounds? And if your players are performing, then suddenly you're going to struggle in the mid-portion of these rounds.
Well, that's the thing as well. For Nuke is what it is in terms of a map. There's a lot of explosive potential for areas like outside. If you kind of think of outside as like a different type of mid, where there's a lot of long-range aim fights, if you can actually take aim battles and win, you can get outside control and start to open up rounds. There's a lot of options in playstyle.
So, exactly, options, right? Sometimes you're going to be seeing teams go for the heavy smokes towards outside, the wall of smokes to go down secret. The reason being is, if you do the smokes towards outside, you force a player from A to rotate down vent, go towards the secret stairs, and then say there's a player less on A, and then you can go back towards the A site. It's really a game of cat and mouse towards the CT side rotations. Is Endpoint, if they're starting on the CT side, obviously the knife round's going underway now. If Endpoint win this knife round, do they want to start on their CT side? Are their rotations going to be living up to the potential firepower that Epsilon can bring?
That's the thing as well that actually opens up a lot of this map, is obviously, even though since the revamp there's some alterations on how balanced it is, but that CT side obviously quite important to try and get your feet firmly foot on the ground.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, obviously it is usually favoured as a CT-sided map, but then again, if the Ts are performing well, if they're landing their shots, then you know, going towards outside. Once those smokes fade, try to utilize them, go in towards garage, sneak in under heaven, try to get your backstab in towards the CT-sided defense, and it can be a hard map to play CT-side if the Ts are performing well individually and their executions are good.
Yeah, if they have everything sort of very well uniformed and actually working together, cohesion is a big factor. It all comes down to communication, how much actual structure you have. If you want to play Nuke as a strategized map, sort of really take those long-range fights, try and draw out smokes, then play into the late round, you can do that very effectively. It just depends if you have enough time to really get your playbook with that enough depth. And that's the thing for Endpoint, is right now, I feel like Nuke shouldn't be one of the maps they're actively practicing. Obviously, with Thomas coming in as well, there's not going to be too much practice with this 5, so it'll be a little bit more puggy.
Yeah, so when I was on the roster for Endpoint, we were forced to practice Nuke because it's one of the Premier maps. Now, obviously, that's changed. You get to veto the maps in Premier, the Mountain Dew Leagues. That changes everything. Suddenly, you're not forced to practice maps. You're not forced to play these maps. So is this a curveball? And is this something they played? Because I don't think they played it so far. They played their, you know, a lot of Inferno. They're like Overpass, these more tactical maps. And does that favor towards a team like Endpoint, where Nuke on your T side can be more of that strategical approach?
That's the thing. I can't say I've seen too many officials from them on this, so it'll definitely be one for one to remember as we do get into the action. Endpoint going to be starting off on that CT side. They've secured it. They want to try and lock it down and have a good performance there to open this one up. Epsilon are going to be your T. Snods, we're back. Let's get into it.
Exactly that. Emmy going to be buying up the smoke and defuse kit, of course, and it will be Endpoint actually starting on their CT defense. So this is the question, right? Can they get off to a good start, or will Epsilon top them over already and conquer them this first pistol round?
Well, the push coming down early. You can see Imi has actually had to fall back from close ramp as he heard an absolute thunder of footsteps coming towards him. There's a herd of Ts trying to take control, but it's been a bit of a ruse.
Exactly that. You can see as well Thomas rotating in via vent from the A site, and then suddenly this is what I was talking about, Jack. If you apply pressure on the CT side, the rotations are going to crumble, and Thomas is towards vent. If he comes up at the wrong time...
There you have it. Thomas going to find that frag so easily, but is he ready for what's about to burst through the door? As they load their 4-4s, going to charge their way through. They dive in. Eric opens it up as he finds the headshot back towards Thomas, and they have secured the site control now. Mighty Max comes over to try and prove a little bit of a nuisance towards them. He is jiggle peeking through with that USP, Snods, but nothing too much will come from it.
4 versus 4, and the bomb is down. They have the kit, but no smoke to try smoke. Use the smoke as a warden or a shroud to allow the defuse to come through, but let's see what Stanley can do on the retake.
Oh, Stanley trying his luck here as he will show his deck as he pushes through, but unfortunately Zinken and JZ Walkers come through massively into the round. Zinken as well for another frag there as he continues his warpath. That's 2 frags to his name, and a round for Epsilon on that T side to open it up. Not the way Endpoint would have wanted that to go. The team mum will be sad. Jakey is not going to be happy.
Exactly that. Exactly that. That was a very well played round there for Epsilon. I said in the preface before, if you apply pressure towards that B site, it makes things so awkward on your CT side of rotation, suddenly you have a man less there. We saw the Heaven player Mighty Max go down towards ramp. We then saw Thomas go down vent towards the B site. A massive over-rotation from Endpoint meant only one man holding the A site, and that was Thomas. He found his 1 kill, was eventually swarmed, and he couldn't find any more frags, and this will be the force by now from Endpoint.
JZ here as well, trying to go a little bit aggressive as he does peek out. Just playing this contact angle now, so just holding, waiting for the push to come through. So if he can spot anyone out, he can get some early frags, which is quite nice. Imi has no real reason to extend as well. So we can just sort of cut off this back rotation on the map, even if they don't take out Syken. Oh, finds the headshot anyway, though.
Does indeed, and thankfully for Endpoint, Imi wasn't someone that invested into this round. Stanley, the player of Kevlar on a CZ, this is the player you want to be able to find the firepower with. Mighty Max is what chimes in, and suddenly we have a chance.
Oh, that chance goes straight out the window, though, Snods. There is the return fire. Eric and Kevzy going to find frag so easily. Max on the scene of the crime, though, does damage. Max with the double switches out to the UMP. Oh. Max is playing gun game, and he makes it work as everyone hits the deck.
The Mighty Max himself, a massive quad kill there too. Win the force buy from Endpoint. That's only 3 players forcing as well. Stanley, Max, and I believe it was Fasha, Thomas, and Imi. They saved for utility. They saved for potential double up setup into the first buy round, but actually, Epsilon are now the ones where they're going to be considering, do we eco, do we force buy, how much are we going to invest into this one? And the answer, Jack, is going to be all 5 players. Everyone investing into Kevlar, everyone investing into upgraded pistols as well. We have 2 smokes onto Barbar and Kevzy, so they can smoke off Garage, smoke out A main, if they want to try and get some splits going in towards A or B.
Yeah, let's see what they can actually achieve, though, as they are going for this all-out aggression towards outside. You can see them really putting all their cards up for grabs right now as the first frags will start to come through. Fasher and Thomas do peek together and shut down JZ and Kevzy. Eric is in the elevated angle, though. Does have that deagle as well. It can be quite dastardly with a weapon if you give him an opportunity. But the CTs have no reason to peek, Snods, apart from Thomas, who is feeling it.
Thomas, notoriously known for how good he is at getting these eco frags, or kills when players haven't got their rifles in their hands, as it seems like it's his speciality, and that's actually quite a good speciality to have, because if you have a player that's very good at getting these kills versus the pistols versus the ecos, it takes all that risk out of it. Sometimes teams concede versus force buys. You know, every now and then you do need a player like Thomas that's going to be hungry for those kills to really give yourself a 100% chance versus the low econ buys from your position.
Yes, you don't have the reset that came through from essentially what Max did to them. You need to try and stub that out early and really leave them in a horrendous position. Barbar trying to make a play here, though, as he's the last remaining T member for Epsilon. Will peek through. Slow reaction speed there. Stanley, a little bit too hot for him.
Too hot indeed. Seems like he actually got out of bed properly this morning.
Yes, nice and alert off the back of Fasher waking him up.
Exactly, exactly. Let's take a look and see what's going to happen now. Is this going to be the eco coming out? I imagine so. And it will be. $2,000 across the board here, Jack. And this is one of the biggest issues where, on your T side especially, if you're losing this first pistol round, we see teams actually opt to not go for the force buy. I was casting Na'Vi versus Stralis, and when they're on the T side, Na'Vi, they just bought Deagles, they just bought CZ, they didn't buy Kevlar. The reason being is smokes, flashbangs are crucial on nuke, on your T side. If you want any chance into these rounds, this could be a worrying sign here for the Swedish side if They lack the utility. And can it start to snowball? They lose these rounds off the back of weak buys, and then they force more ecos, and Thomas just cleans them up. And systematically, they fall down like dominoes.
Talking about snowballing into this round as well, you can see this nice play coming out from Imi and Co, where they can just hold this angle. They're actually going to peek together, so you can get a mass amount of cash here as well, because Max can now push through. Everyone's going to get converged on. So 3 of those frags going to the SMGs. That was very nicely played.
Yeah, one of the things as well I touched on all the time when casting is playing versus the force buys with the ecos, having clean rounds, 4 or 5 staying alive, where you can start to establish and build your economy. Endpoint having 3 alive in the last round and 5 alive in this one versus the eco. So now we're starting to see a narrative where Endpoint have cash in the bank. 6,000, nearly 7,000 for Mighty Max. So we can see a buy from Endpoint even if they lose this round. But thankfully for Epsilon, sorry, they did get a few kills here and there. Those kills equal money, and the money equals utility. So there will be smokes across the board from Epsilon. As the smokes do come out already. Smoke initially to warden off any peaks from Garage. Smoke comes out towards Red, but there's no deeper smoke as well. So how are they going to cross?
Trying to push their way down. Thomas is there as well as he's coming over, so Thomas can just hold the angle and defend if they do even bypass the gap that's in the smoke. Just needs to play his cards right as he will peek up. Oh, a little bit risky as there is 2 players there. They could trade for each other. Zinken takes down Thomas as they will lose that defense.
And now this is where things get really difficult for the side of Endpoint. They're a man down on a map like Nuke where during the middle portion of these rounds, it's so hard to play with a deficit. Epsilon, if they stack up together, if they go 4 down, Secret Stairs have 1 lurk towards lobby potentially. This is a very hard round for Endpoint to win.
Well, that's the thing. The rotate times are so quick and it's so easy. As soon as they get map control like that, the amount of mind games they can play alone really put you on edge. It's a horrible situation to be in. But you can see they're actually repositioning right now as they're going to go through radio and out towards ramp.
As I said before, they need to group as a 4-man unit and have a lurk somewhere across the map.
Imi trying to go for a play here, though, as he will walk his way down. Does find that refrag actually puts them back into a 4v4. This is a much more manageable situation if they can get the read on it.
This changes everything. You can see suddenly Epsilon are changing their gaze from the B side to go towards outside, see if they can catch Imi off guard or catch a player here. Potentially go for an A-main slip-in or maybe towards Heaven.
They're already extending quite far out. If they find Imi as well, this would be great for them. But there's the panic. Imi actually finds that frag, takes down Barbar. The battle of the IGLs goes in the favor of Imi right now as they have to try and take the hit towards the A-bomb site and slip their way through. Jay-Z as well needs to make a play, but is the alert of Mighty Max will eventually spot him out and find that frag.
3 versus 3 and the bomb is down. Kevzy as well, able to deny any rotations via Bet. Gets a second headshot as well, and now it's on to Imi, the 1 versus 3. Would have had to have been the ace if there was any chance into this round. And they will eventually crumble and fall down. So you see what happens, Jack. When you lose that first player, it's so hard to come back from that sort of deficit because you put it perfectly. You said the rotations are easy. And it's almost like you've been blessed with a curse with fast rotations because it's very easy to over-rotate. And if you over-rotate, you miss opportunities and you give space and chances for Epsilon to go in towards the A site for free like they just did. Imi found that kill towards outside, but towards Heaven, there was no one holding that position. And it was an easy round for the side of Epsilon. Then again, for Endpoint, they had the cash that I spoke about before, so they can still buy.
Yeah, there's always that risk of overextending here. Nuke, you really need to know your own boundaries. Stanley actually comes in, though, as he will push into Barbar's mitts and take him down, leaving them with just 4 players already, but they have that outside control. Imi is the last line of defense, but it's a nice angle with the AWP, and he will find the frag anyway, takes down Kevzy, and it's 3 players remaining now for that T side.
Great positioning there from Imi. He knows that Epsilon are going to go back towards that secret play, read it like a book. And now towards outside, you can see Thomas with a secondary AWP as well, holding for anyone towards Heaven, or God forbid, CT lower.
Oh, nicely done. Obviously, this double up setup coming through quite fruitful into the round. Max also finds a headshot. Zinken forced his hand there. He had to do at least something into the round, pushes through and goes down. So Endpoint instantly with a reset, looking good.
Precisely. If you remember as well, we saw on the second round when Max had the quad kill, it was Thomas and Imi that saved, which meant from the start, from the get-go, they had a game plan on Nuke to go and run the double up setup on the CT side, and it seems so far it's been paying its dividends. There's going to be 2 ops once again from Endpoint. And for Epsilon, a desperate force buy. If they lose this round here, Jack, will go 5-2. They're going to be forced onto an eco. We could very easily be seeing a 6-2 scoreline if Endpoint pull this one through.
It's like they're throwing some smokes there through skylights, though, towards the A-bomb site early. Also some smokes towards outside controllers. They are working their way out very fast here, Snods. Opening frag comes in the favor of Thomas, though, and Fasha holding the angle. Can be angle the angle, even. Can be naughty with this AK if he's given the opportunity.
4 versus 4. Fasha, if he was to peek in towards A main right now, would get these players in the back. But unfortunately, there's no one here from Endpoint. All it's going to be is the player towards Heaven. But the issue is, can Imi with the op find the frags, or will he go down and give up this site?
Oh, Stanley being absolutely stealthy here as he gets in the rear, finds the first headshot, will take down Barber as he's now panicked and confused, ready for more as well. If they flood towards him and try and play for trades, he should just get the spray down off. Oh, he's flicking all over the place. Stanley making mincemeat out of him as he absolutely executes everyone that comes towards him. Kebsy with the trade back though, that's CZ armed and deadly as he finds the frag on Fasher, leaves himself in a 1v2, but with 13 HP in 50 seconds, he's going to be in a bit of a tight spot.
Yeah, only real silver lining here is the fact that he has the bomb, so if he rushes down, Secret potentially can get the bomb plant down and get an extra $800 for Epsilon. But apart from that, it all comes down to Mighty Max. He's pushing in towards lobby, playing towards hut. He's going to get wind of as to where the bomb is eventually going to. For Endpoint, you may as well just stack up together, play 2 versus 1. Don't give away kills in isolation.
Yeah, just try and play this smart. Kevs as well. He has to make noise now as he will go down towards that B-bomb site. Luckily, they were close enough as well. They should have heard that audio key. You can see the rotate coming around for Max. As long as Max doesn't play it stupid, just plays it smart, they have won this round. He will be able to find that frag as well. Just dive straight in. Imi was there to support him as the dynamic duo will pick up the round, and they will get 5 on the board now on their CT half.
Or on the flip side, Jack, what if Max plays stupid, and therefore it's unexpected?
Yes, exactly.
Yes, exactly. Shout out to Neil M. So, as you said before, they're going to fight outside, and he's expecting again. You saw he was almost towards the secret stairs. He's holding that aggression towards outside. And if they're going to fight towards outside, how are the rotations going to be? He already said he wants Stanley towards the lower side already at the start of the round. Regardless, though, as predicted, 5-2. Now an eco coming out from Epsilon. High chance here, Jack, for a 62 score on an Endpoint, running away with his half already.
Yeah. Nice HEs towards outside though, just in case they were going for more of an aggressive play. Would have done an awful lot of damage towards them and at least ward them off. Thomas with a smoke as well to buy them time. Jay-Z is the only one in the close angle, but they do have support from the elevated angle, which is going to be Barber just peeking over. Thomas is safe though, as long as he doesn't overextend.
Exactly. Just playing for information here. Doesn't want to get too overzealous, overcommit and give away an entry kill. Obviously, if you give out full outside control, then suddenly the T's can work their magic towards their main, towards heaven. It gets very tricky.
You can see Thomas actually seemed alert of this play as well from Barber. Definitely dubious of it as he will be repositioned into a more favorable angle to try and deal with that. As he also takes the fight towards Jay-Z. Only 36 HP remaining on him still. It's not a great spot to be in, and he finds the head of Barber eventually as he is dealing with this eco towards outside. Isn't giving them the opportunity they are begging for.
Kevsy now trying to go for the contact play towards ramp, land that first kill and land that entry, but unfortunately Stanley lands the first, but the aim punch comes into effect. And they do fall down 1 by 1. Just going to be Zinker now, last alive. Can try get some exit kills, try and whittle down that CT economy, but apart from that, he's still consolation frags.
They can just try and take this fight towards him now. Unfortunate Fasher actually went down as well because it was a very clean round there. So only losing 1 player and conceding that, having to get 1 rebuy out, that's a pretty good spot to be in so far in your CT half.
It is, and they've had the clean rounds versus the ecos time and time again. I'm going to see that be a very salient point going forward because people really do underestimate the value of having clean anti-ecos and how it can really pay off for you later on. But nevertheless, though, Jack, it will be round number 9. 6-2 being the scoreline. Epsilon in a 4-round deficit on their terrorist side of nuke as the smokes come towards outside. It's going to be Fasher this time. Let's see how Endpoint are changing this one up.
Well, let's wait and see. You can see Imi on the elevated angle though, so he's at least got his eyes in the sky, but it's not going to help too much as they're crouching below and they could get the opener on him. Zinkin actually finds that headshot as well. This is horrendous now. They're converging towards the A site. Everyone's in a great angle as they burst their way through. Fasher will only get 1 before he's taken down in a flurry of bullets coming out from Eric. Max as well gets sidelined by Barber, and it's all up to Stanley and Thomas. Sure, this suicide squad can do damage in the past, but is this retake possible? Stanley with the entry. Stanley with the second, nearly the third before Jay-Z will punish him, and it's a 1v1 against Thomas, but Jay-Z too hot to handle. He's too fast, and Thomas is down.
Stanley there with a hero play towards heaven. Gave Endpoint the chance into this round. But more importantly, Jack, taking those weapons out of the inventory of Epsilon is going to be damaging the money going forward for the T side. Only 1 player surviving, so look at their money. 1.5k for Barber, 1.2k for Jay-Z. And apart from that, everyone else is broke. Endpoint, if they win this round, we could easily be looking at a 9-3 scoreline. The game could be set in stone at that point. But of course, there's a lot of what-ifs and a lot of buts. Can they still perform versus these buyers from Epsilon, or have Epsilon actually managed to figure out their weakness into these rounds?
Nice little angle from Thomas there, though, as he does peek and takes that fight towards outside. He's done a formidable job of actually holding them back at the correct timings.
Yeah, gapping that smoke as well. Usually you shouldn't be able to find that frag, so Epsilon trying to do a smoke on the run, but unfortunately, potentially rushing that smoke may have just cost them Barbar's life.
I think we've seen Fasher rotate round in time as well, as he was a little bit dubious of this play. Unfortunately, as he does go for the peek out, suspecting this, he will go down, loses his face there.
Stanley, though, with the rotation coming in, loses the second draw, but getting the first kill. Zinken did go down, 1 for 1. And the bomb will be planted.
Oh, Max is trying to keep up a fast, as he will find that frag against Kebsy, so obviously it's just 2 players remaining on that T side. They are outnumbered now. It just depends on how Endpoint opt to play this. Are they going to go aggressive? Max coming down, trying to toy with them. You can see Eric very confused, very paranoid about this, as Max will begin to back off. Molotov's come through as well to force him out of position, but is he going to peek towards Thomas? Thomas holding the angle, gets the tag towards him, and there's the kill from him with the Molotov. Actually, so Imi gets the double off the back of that, and Endpoint will get the round.
That's a big round to win as well. Not only is that for closing out this matchup, Jack, but both of these teams are 4 wins and 1 loss on 13 points. I was told you need 14 points to secure a spot in playoffs, which means if Endpoint get to 10 rounds, they confirm their spot in the top 4 and a position in playoffs. So big following rounds going to be coming up now for Endpoint. 7-3, and once again, the money is low for Epsilon. It seems like each round is a blessing in disguise, but they win the round and then suddenly they reset and they can't quite conjure up any consistency in their victories. They can't chain rounds together, as it will with the full eco now.
Oh, Thomas with the opening frag though, takes down JZ. There's Imi and Max as well coming through as the duo starts to step it up a little. And it's all on Eric and Zinken. CZ's coming through, but it's just the one frag. That's all we can actually find Zinken as well. Trapped now, cowering in the corner as the push is coming towards him. And there's the man in the rear. Stanley once more stealthily tiptoes in from behind, and we'll find that frag as Endpoint continue their dominant lead.
So, what is Epsilon going to be going for into this round here? How are they going to change things up? We know that Endpoint are playing very heavy towards outside. You've got Thomas, you've got Imi locking it down. Why not try potentially for an upper execution? Do your wall of smokes towards outside and then do a re-execution towards upper? Obviously, when the smokes come out, even Imi said it as well. They're playing heavy towards outside. You want Stanley to be the rotate player from vent or from lower. So fake out that rotation. Do exactly what we did in the pistol round. Force the over-rotates from Endpoint and try claim a weaker A bomb site.
Well, let's see what they are going to opt to do now on the side of Epsilon into this round. They are rearmed once again with the Kalashnikovs. You've got the AWP on JZ. So this is where you have more leg room to work with. They can actually try and get some explosive entry frags, especially when you send JZ over towards that ramp area, trying to see if he can actually find contact there. But Thomas is going to be on the receiving end.
Exactly, but on the receiving end with an AWP of himself. And obviously you favor, especially on LAN as well, where the ping is 1 to 3, you favor the AWP that's holding the angle. And JZ, if he walks into Thomas here, this could be even worse than it already is for Epsilon.
Yeah, Thomas going to spot him out. Also has the wallbang potential there as he lands that shot and takes him down. So already 3 players on the side of Epsilon. That's all they have left. That's all the reserve. Barbar as well, the peak round. Does get a nice headshot off towards Stanley as he takes vent control. Eric comes through as he will kill Fasher. Max has the fire back. Imi as well connecting that shot. And it's just Barbar left now. He has to come back up, peek towards the A site. He's hoping to find an opener. 45 seconds. And an AK is all he has to his name here.
Lacks possession of the bomb. 38 seconds left. Double flashbang and a Molotov as well. Can't just try smoke the bomb, try retrieve it. But let's see. Throws out the fake flashbang, trying to see if he can mimic a play towards ramp. But I don't think Endpoint are going to be buying it.
Oh, Barbar going back through. 20 seconds. Max ready for the peek. Oh, the timing is absolutely horrendous. You can see Barbar panicking there, as he did get a little bit overwhelmed. We're going to peek round, use the Molotov to try and force Max out. Really just needs to die before time now, and we'll go down to Max.
Pause, yeah, that would be a good shout. That would be a good shout from Epsilon. Try and see if they can recalibrate their T-sellers right now. It's all falling apart. Entry kills galore for Endpoint. Only rounds we've seen 1 from Epsilon. There were rounds where Thomas or Remy give up the first kill. Sorry, Thomas gives up the first kill.
Yeah.
Or I believe it was Fashion one of the other rounds. But when they don't get the first kill, you can see how much of an uphill struggle it really is. Because if you lose the first kill and you're 4 versus 5 down in the T side, even if you play the trade game where you try to swarm in the sites as a 3-man unit, a 4-man unit, if you get the trades, you'll always be in a deficit. You have to have someone go huge, land a massive 2K spray down or something to change the odds of the round. Or just get the bomb down, try to play a very smart after plant. As you saw, Krillate obviously was playing, but now it's going to be Barbar. Interesting to see the conversations going back and forth, but obviously my Swedish isn't really up to par.
As they try and come to the bottom of this issue, working out how to overthrow this defense for Endpoint. Endpoint looking very good, though. Actually quite formidable on their CT side. You do wonder, though, that's the thing. CT halves, you can try and play more relaxed style, just hold angles, rely on individual aim. When they get to their T side, that's where it's going to come and sort of rely on the more of the fact they need cohesion as a unit.
Yeah, obviously, one of the things we forgot to point out as well is the fact that Thomas is a substitute for Endpoint. Weber is now the new 5th for Endpoint, but obviously before the Elite season started, Weber was his sub for Excel, so we can't play Gfinity, but he's playing with them, obviously at the gaming house you saw in the video. But yeah, as you said before, Endpoint are looking very, very good. Even with Thomas, even with Weber, this new 5-man roster, I say new, with the duo, plus the new 2 members, Stanley and Fascia, and now Weber, are looking very good, poised to really do some damage internationally.
Thomas is risking it right now as he charges through. Luckily, Stanley's there as a safety net to catch him as he falls back down to earth. Stanley unfortunately goes down as well, and Eric is still trying his luck against Thomas. Wolf on the double kill with the CZ is able to push through, try and rearm himself with something a little bit more powerful.
See the greed coming out from Thomas there. Spoke about how much he loves those eco frags for the stats. 1 minute on the clock now. Bomb towards lobby. Zinkin picks it up. Orp onto Eric. But it's towards ramp. He has to have someone from Endpoint walk into his crosshair and force that over peak. As they are slowing things right down. 50 seconds left now. If the bomb goes down with that Orp in the right position, Jack, towards ramp, holding the vent rotation, holding the double doors rotation, holding the single door as well. Decon door towards the right of the default. This could be a very strong round if Epsilon. Definitely a chance, even though they are on eco. Oh, this is strange. Giving the bomb to Eric. Giving the bomb to the Orpa. Things are not shaping up how they're supposed to be, potentially. Let's see how this one plays out.
Well, he's going to make his way over towards the bomb site and try and get that planted. Obviously, all of the CTs currently towards that upper site will have to rotate round. They will be alerted of this as the bomb does start to go down there. They have utility to work with as well to get them in. Let's just see how communication is going to hold up now for Endpoint on this retake, as Zinkin needs to decide to hold an angle. His teammate goes down as well, so it's forced up to him now. Peeks round, but he just runs into Mighty Max, who's going to knock him down, body slam him out of the way, and take control as they will get that retake.
Saw how awkward that was for Eric with the AWP after the bomb was planted. It's one of the reasons why you want to have the bomb on the right flank so the AWP can get stuck into a good position. Bomb goes down, he's in a prime time location, all's good. But unfortunately, all is not good for the Swedes. As I believe the scoreline is 10, yep. Double digits already for Endpoint here. 10-3 half. After losing and conceding the first pistol, they are seeing a 7-round advantage on their CT side nuke. But then again, resistance now for Epsilon. They can afford a buy. It's going to be the 5 AK buy. That no AWP coming out for JZ just yet as they try to rush towards outside and counter the play from Endpoint.
Very aggressive as they are bursting their way through. They've finally actually tried to play with their tempo and really push in fast and furious. Might actually be the difference maker that works using this aggressive play towards the A bomb site. Let's see if the CTs can actually hold it back. Barbar with the entry on towards Mighty Max. Nice little opening impact frag there as well to try and stop Max from having his way in the round. Stanley will take down Barbar, but there's the trade back as Imi falls.
Retake now on the cards. Stanley again towards lobby. So good in this position, but unfortunately Zinkin catches him off guard. But Fascia does the exact same to Kevzi and Zinkin.
Oh, everyone is getting annihilated right now. JZ as well trying to peek round, but he's so low. Fascia realizes there is potential in the round, but he has to try and force the play. And he couldn't quite do it. Eric will take him down. That's 4 rounds for Epsilon as they get ever so close to at least getting 5 at the half.
So, one of the things we've got to mention as well, we forgot to bring up, is Endpoint now have 10 rounds, Jack. They are guaranteed that 1 point to get to 14, and I believe that will certify their position within top 4 and playoffs going forward. So congratulations. I don't want to be wrong on that one, but nevertheless, I believe it is true, is what I was told. So 10-4. Still a massive advantage so far for Endpoint on their CT side. It will be a buy once again coming up from Epsilon. Obviously, the AWP was dropped by Imi, so JZ's going to be winning that one into this round. 1 minute 40 on the clock as the bomb and 3 of the players from Epsilon are making their way towards ramp.
Slow play. Stanley going back over. Stanley actually going to go for the spam through the smoke as well. Doesn't connect on anyone. Could have given him a window of opportunity there, but instead they still go for the contact push down. Luckily Stanley will read it correctly and back off.
They've heard him though. They've heard him jump on the metal. They heard him jump down. They're going to be anticipating the rotation. There's no information about where Epsilon are right now. 3 players in the bomb going to be making their mark towards the speed bomb site. When are Endpoint going to realize?
Oh, this could be awful. As they could come out and get themselves some free frags as they start to clear the bomb site. Obviously playing for the retake right now as they are focusing more so towards back steps. As this push will come round and they secure the site. Stanley falls first as Barbar gets the opening headshot. Stanley! Oh, Barbar actually going to go on to get the second as well. Sprays his way through me. That is not the way they wanted this round to start to shape up. Fascia is in the rear, luckily. as he goes back round. Tries to go for more of an audacious fast play. Wants to open this one up.
3 versus 4 man advantage for Epsilon. A little bit of cheeky lob tap coming out from his teammate, but here comes the 3-man rotation via vents.
Pushing straight through, Max gonna leave the charge, he bursts his way out. Thomas does the initial damage though as he takes down Eric. It's a 3-on-3, a good situation to be in, but not when Zinken is coming through behind. Jay-Z finds that headshot as well. Zinken strikes Barbar for the final frag. They do get 5 rounds at the half.
10-5 will be the final half scoreline going forward, as the CT side was still strong though, double digits coming up from Endpoint after losing the pistol. So, issues at hand here for Epsilon are what happens if they concede the second half pistol. If it goes in favor of Endpoint and the pistols go 1 for 1, Jack, 11-5, you're going to be in a weak 4 spot. If they don't lose it, then suddenly it's 12-5. Eco comes out for Epsilon, 13-5. And if they go for a 5-man 4 spot like they did on the T side as well, they're going to be lacking utility, lacking orbs into the second half first buy round. Endpoint are really poised to be taking this match.
Not a great spot to be in, obviously, for Epsilon. They want to try and now bite back twice as hard. You can see quite a few rounds there. Luckily, they were actually able to get 5 on the board at the end of their T-half, as it seemed like it was going to be a lot worse for them. They were really struggling to actually find their footing against Endpoint there. Endpoint as well. Can they just try and keep their heads together, play with that level of momentum, and actually bring that through on their T-half?
Well, I mean, you spoke about the fact that they haven't really played a Fishers on Nuke. So the easy part essentially is out the way. You're on your favored side on Nuke, CT side defense. You're on the side where you don't really need as much structure, as much tactical depth on your roster. Remember, they are subbing in Thomas for Gfinity Elite Series, so what are they going to fall back on? One of the things I said when Tom asked me about my predictions for this matchup was the T side from Endpoint could be 50-50. They could do their smokes outside, they could do their wall of smokes, go down secret, they land those headshots, or they do the smokes, they fake out a play. In the mid-round, they go towards outside. You've got Thomas and Fasha lurking towards outside in garage and whatnot, and they land those headshots to get the entries, and the sights are theirs. But what happens if they don't land those kills? What happens if those headshots don't come in their way, in their favor? What are they going to fall back on? They have nothing to fall back upon.
Yeah. What sort of strategy do you really have underneath
Exactly.
that? There's no real depth to the playbook.
A fast A-main split, right, where you do the smokes to smoke off garage, you smoke off the blue box and the red box outside, and then you split in 3 A-main. Or a fast upper rush, where you have the molly on top of heart, the flashbang from the same position above heaven. Molly out before the CT vent, smoke off towards main, smoke off and molly out towards heaven. And all these things, all these intricate things where you need time on the server. But obviously, in the gaming house, have they put some time and thought onto Nuke? Obviously, Imi is a wise man, so hopefully he's got something in store for this one.
Well, let's see, as right now it looks like he's doing Nilzinho's favourite strat with a burst straight out, as they will go through vent and all the way down towards the B-bomb site as the rotate does come back round. Thomas as well, slowly adjusting through. We'll find Barbar, so the timing works out very well for him, as they've actually got a firm grasp onto this round.
Stanny as well can lurk towards vent and the lower bomb side if he wants to. They have the bomb towards ramp right now, and they're slowing the pace down. They're trying to see if they can get a pick somewhere else.
So they just taper it down a little bit. Jay-Z, he's rocking 2 firearms. Dez and Troy, let's see if they can come through as he starts to destroy everyone. As they push in, they will fall short. Thomas with the response with the double USP as he's finding heads across the map. Falls back into a 1v2 now. The double push is coming in. Is he focused on the right angle? The timing wasn't fantastic. Couldn't adjust correctly. Does go down. What a letdown there. Massive opening round. Looked like they had set up everything and it all just toppled down.
Precisely. You land that first kill. Stanley got lurking towards vent. He can cause a fake and a stir towards the B site, force a rotation. It was a 5 versus 4. Stanley's towards vent. He can force that rotation from Epsilon for the ramp player towards B. Maximum of 3 players towards the upper bomb site, which there isn't going to be, right? There's going to be a player towards stairs or towards garage or towards heaven. You may as well take a chance towards that A site, which they did, but unfortunately, Kevsey with the Julies got a dual amount of kills, 2 at that, as they try to rush through door and hut. So now we have the scenario where Epsilon have won both their pistols, T and CT. Endpoint won the last force buy. Can they mimic that, replicate it, and bounce back into the second half?
Yeah, is there something they can do here? Will Epsilon play their anti-eco incorrectly, make a slip up, and give them the option that they need? As this push is slowly coming through, Imi actually going to take first contact over towards the A site. Does get tagged down to 86 HP. Nade comes rolling through as well. So he's left on just a measly 60. And Zinken looks like he tries to want to go for a very aggressive push through here with that MP9.
Endpoint right now stacking up towards ramp. Eric with the MP9. Let's see if he can handle the full force of multiple Endpoint players.
Yeah, when they do burst their way through, Barbar going straight in though, but he whiffs it, doesn't realize behind as well it's going to be Imi. Doesn't work out well for Barbar there.
Imi is low, but not before he claimed the scalp of Barbar. Once again, the IGL, the battles of IGL is going in favor of Imi, but Kevzi, or should I say Eric, sorry, did get the 1-for-1 trade towards B, but 1-for-1 is going to be enough as the B site is now open.
Fasher coming round as he just starts to rotate back through. Can hold towards back vent here as well as he will actually push in. They find this next frag. It puts them in a favourable position to actually try and bring this back now. But Kevzi with a double spray. The elevated angle, they peek towards him and Jay-Z's in the rear as well.
They've just lined up for Kevzi there now. Jay-Z from the rear should be able to find the frag onto Max Plant the bomb, and he does. 20 seconds left, stands in the 1 versus 2.
They've thrown it all out the window off the back of the double kill from Kevzi. That really sold the round down the river. Stan has to try and claw at least something back. 8 seconds. He can go for the bomb plant, but it will surely be taken down if he does. Essentially, this round is as good as done as he dies after time. Luckily, he wasn't put through that much punishment.
Endpoint there. We're expecting an over-rotation from Epsilon towards B from ramp. They thought everyone was going to be instantly rotating as they did on their CT side, but instead, Kevzi stayed towards Heaven. He didn't over-rotate towards ramp like we saw Mighty Max do on CT side from Endpoint. And with that durability and that commitment towards A, they all go through that tight choke point, towards Ven, and just get mowed down.
Yeah, very, very awful. Jay-Z actually gets tagged as he's trying to go for these peaks with the scout. Can't land it on anyone. Gets knocked down to 60 HP, but luckily enough you've got Zinken and Kevzi's Overwatch to just find those very easy frags as they pop heads. Just want to get this round over and done with, ideally, and move on to the next one, as there's not too much that Endpoint can really bring to the table.
Massive round now for both of these teams. Endpoint, if they concede the first round on their second half, then suddenly it's a 10-9 scoreline. They're going to be on a weak quasi-buy like we saw Epsilon be in the same scenario they had, where it was CZ's Kevlar or P250's the Smoke Kevlar. Very low chance on a map like Nuke as well to win those rounds where there's such long-range duels. Endpoint, if they concede this round, we could easily be tied up 10-10. What is Zimmy going to throw out now into the first buy round?
Well, let's wait and see. This is going to be an interesting one to try and understand how this round goes. But look at that, that's classic. The nade strat towards outside. Look how low everyone is. That's very standard. Jay-Z as well. Still dealing damage with the scout. Barbar tries to upgrade to the AK, but he's not going to be able to slay today as he will fall short. Jay-Z repositions as well. Still getting consistent tags out on those Endpoint players.
Imi tagged up to low HP as well. The bomb, though, has made its way down secret steps, as it will be the 4 versus 4. 1 minute 15 left on the clock. Kevzi missing some crucial frags, but eventually lines them up. Gets the first kill to Mighty Max. A man advantage now for Epsilon.
Horrible spot to be in. 3 versus 4 with the defense really banging on the door. They want to try and close this out. Stanley is forced to try and recover the bomb as well. Kevzi is aware of this. He can just try and go for the little periodic peaks now and then and should be able to come out on top. Stanley, you can see the confidence is shining through, but will he actually try and go for this play? There's the nades. Fasher actually going to walk his way up, grabs the bomb, gets the kill as well. He takes down Kevzi. He's got balls.
Oh, Imi's got frags. Let's put it like that. Fasher is low, Imi is low. Zinken and Eric now from Epsilon. 2 versus 3 as they are rotating back towards the B-bomb side, but you can see Endpoint have a different idea, as it will be Zinken on his lonesome towards this A-bomb side. 30 seconds left. Is he going to be expecting the play towards A main?
Well, let's see. Zinken just waits it out with this M4, poised and ready to try and spray upon them and use it as target practice as a beat round. Gets a massive dink off on All Stanley. There's the frag on Fasher as well. He's just bobbing and weaving right now. He can go a full 12 rounds and come out on top as he finds that headshot, grabs the AK. Fantastic play from the individual.
There you have it. First buy round of the second half now claimed by Epsilon. Going forward now, we've seen the wall of smokes come out from Endpoint, and it basically works, right? You do exactly what you wanted. You go down secret stairs, you went 1 for 1, that's perfect, you're 4 versus 4, you're down secret, you're going towards B, you get the first kill towards the B bomb site, but then suddenly, the bomb is left in the open. Eric had such a good position on it. Sorry, Kevzi had such a good position on it, and no one was there to help Stan until 10 seconds.
Yeah. It was really, really unfortunate for them in the way they actually got divided there and couldn't provide support for one another. This is going to be, you imagine, tied up at 10-10 now as well. As Kevzy should just get a big spray down if they try and push through. Everyone can converge, hold towards the A site. He peeks out as well and finds Zimmy. So that's kind of the backstep potential taken out the window. It's really not gone well for them. Easy spray for Zinken as he finds 2 kills. There is trades back though as Fasher and Stanley deal some damage with those CZs and scavenge a few weapons to upgrade their arsenal. But can they actually get this bomb down to at least secure a little bit of extra cash?
Kevlar, though, to back up the M4 from Thomas. But they are lacking utility, as it will be Stanley and Thomas down the 2 versus 3.
Barbar waiting to go for the burst out through vent with the timing. Jay-Z as well coming around the contact face, but he falls short. This should spark Barbar to go for the play now as he will push through. Finds Thomas, should take him down, does so, and it's all on Stanley. A 1v2, has the scavenged AWP to play with, but he can't really go for the peaks efficiently. He is smoked out as well. So much utility is being expunged towards his position. Puts through, lands the no-scope, needs to get the refrag. Do it, legs him, goes down as he will peek through.
Jesus Christ! Barbar laughing there like a madman.
Bloody hell. Bloody hell, Snods.
Bloody hell, Dan. Yes, exactly. Look at this. How unfortunate.
Oh, literally in his chest.
More the arse, mate. But nevertheless, it was the... at least they're putting a good show on. 10-10 as we are, as predicted. Equalised, all tied up. 10-10 going forward as we head into round number 21. It's going to be the up coming out from Jay-Z. But the bomb was planted, and it's been 5 rounds lost in a row now for Endpoint. So, they have the maximum round loss bonus, plus the bomb plant. They can buy up into this one.
This is where the game gets serious as well, Snods. Both teams now securing 10 rounds, knowing that they're going to be comfortable towards their playoff positions. They're going to want to try and win this one out for Bloodlust, as this push will be coming through.
And for seeding. Obviously, you want that better seeding to have an easier chance in the first round of the playoffs. So each win does actually make a massive difference. So, AWP this time on Thomas instead of Imi. Interesting to see. Maybe Imi wants to go for a lurk play.
Ooh.
Guess we're about to find out as Barbar catches Fasher off guard with an off angle.
Nicely done there with a cheeky little off angle. She said they weren't expecting that one. A bit of a curt angle. As he whacks off, he's going to try and wait for this push as well. Playing mind games with him as he's firing off these warning pot shots as he will just sit towards Dark.
Playing a good position now towards Dark, as you said, as Barbar entrenched in towards the P-bombs. Like, can he get some more kills?
Zinken doing damage for him as he will find the headshot on Imi. They're aware of the location of Thomas as well, but Max actually fights back as he finds the kill with the Kalashnikov. Max only on 1 HP, and he needs to get the bomb down. If they lob the HE in there, anything a strong gust of wind, they would find him. But luckily, he is able to plant it for the meantime. Max does damage as well, fights through the pain as he finds the headshot on Eric. The angle's being covered by Thomas. Surely Thomas finds this kill. They're going to win this round. Jay-Z left in a 1v2. They have no reason to face him. They can just win this one out if they just play their cards correctly and wait for the push to come towards them. Max on the aggressive angle, though, so low. It just depends on how it goes as the push is coming through. Jay-Z now has to be fast on his feet as he charges in. Max gets spotted, but Stanley kills him.
Very well played round. They're coming out from Endpoint. As soon as they get in towards these sites, they're very good at the afterplants. The problem is, Jack, is getting to that scenario. I said before, if they go for the upper rushes, if they go for the fast or high octane style of plays, there's a high chance for these afterplants. That's where players like Mighty and Max, where Stanley shine. They are so versatile, such complete players where you get them in these scenarios and they really do play it near perfect to a T. Nevertheless, though, with the eco coming out from Epsilon, obviously the 1 versus 1 coming out from Zinken, that's why their money's so low. I said before, you have to have clean rounds versus the anti-ecos versus the force buys for this exact reason.
This push coming through as well. Thomas going to deal some damage to the AK as he does. Starts to slay. Kebsy falls. Jay-Z as well going to follow suit. Obviously, there is nothing really in the arsenal of Epsilon, and this is where Thomas thrives. So he's just going to be running through, merrily skipping along as he takes everyone's names.
Adds them to the list. And 5 players alive. Of course, once again, very, very clean anti-ecos coming out from Endpoint. At this point, it's what we're expecting coming out from the UK side. Right, let's take a look at what Endpoint are going to be bringing us into the next one in terms of their T-side offense and what the strat's going to be. Are they going to play more of a D4 round, try feel out the CT defense coming out from Epsilon? Are they going to have a set play, more of a tactical, one-dimensional focused round where they have something set from the get-go? And it seems like with 5 going towards outside, Imi going to be lining up the smoke as well to go in front of Garage and Secret Stairs. They do have the wall of smokes, but you can see like how passive they're playing. They're not rushing things.
No, they're keeping it calm, cool. keeping it stable. Imi as well with this elevated angle. If someone does peek out and try and contest against this outside control, that's where he's going to be massive. Jay-Z actually might get the upper hand, though, depending on how he plays this.
Information gathered, though. Epsilon know it's going to be towards the A site. The rotations should be changing and channeling in now towards A.
Oh, Kevzy as well. It's such a good angle, but not when you just really draw it out like that. Zinken with a double trade back, though, as they fall into a 3 versus 2. At least Endpoint have the advantage now in this scenario, so all this hard work in securing this site does pay off for them. But Eric is coming in from behind, looking to try and unleash some excruciating pain if he's given the chance.
Kids for the CT side. Jay-Z finds the frag onto Fasha and also onto Imi, and Sully went to 1 versus 2.
That's not a great play. That is the worst case scenario to be in now. You're just left all in the hands of Mighty Max. He can be the clutch master, but will it be coming through today? Can the Max do it as he sprays down Max with 1? But Eric gets the second. It's another reset.
You can't believe it. How do you not kill him, man? What are you doing? Imi, what are you dying, man?
Max looks fuming.
That's the thing. When Max doesn't talk, you know it's bad. He's messaging someone on Steam, and that's not where you want to go. You don't want to see his dark side.
Sad Max.
Yeah, exactly. So, round number 24, 12 to 10. Run advantage, regardless though, from Endpoint. Bomb was planted, obviously, so they can still have some extra cash going forward. And with that extra cash, they can purchase a full buy round. Apart from, obviously, they are lacking the AWP from Thomas or Imi. But it seems like these rifles are really the keys to victory, essentially. As it will be 1 minute 40 coming out. Again, the smokes towards outside as they're trying to force the rotation coming out from Epsilon. But then again, we saw how smart of a play Jay-Z had towards Secret. He got all the information. He knew it was an A-site hit. And actually, Jay-Z obviously being the difference maker in that round, in front of those crucial 2 frags in the 2 versus 3 retake. Endpoint, though, going to the exact same round.
Trying to play once again, but let's see if it worked this time around, or if there is going to be some actually better fought defense against it. Fasha with the early entry. There's actually a clean house towards the A site, and they continue it. Fasha with a double kill as he finds Barber. Very good way to open up this round. So Eric is just forced to save. So at least they are going to reset them back. That's going to be 13 rounds on the board, and Epsilon pretty broke.
Yeah, that could easily be the final end of the coffin here for Epsilon. The fact that not only is it going to be 13 now for the side of Endpoint, but the money is so low for the Swedish side going forward. They're going to be forced onto a force buy. They can eco the next round, Jack, and try play for 14-12, or 14-11, sorry. There's a high chance for that, but the problem is the money is now reset.
Yeah, that's the thing. They've actually got it back into more of a manageable spot in the way it has gone now. So pretty good. They have got that reset round off. Obviously, could have been a bit scary if we actually did see a few rounds linked together for the side of Epsilon.
A thing to note as well, Endpoint have lost both buy rounds in this best of 1 on Nuke. And still they're in the 2-round advantage, and still they're the ones with the momentum. And the ones forcing Epsilon back onto their back heels. I believe it is a pause coming out from the side of Epsilon as they're trying to work out what they can change. Actually, no, they're going to be delving straight into this one, and it will be the force buy as predicted, so M4 for Eric. Kevlar, CZ, smokes, flashbangs, a lack of utility. They have the kill to Eric, thankfully. But apart from that, it's a bare bones buy going forward as Kevzy with the aggression towards ramp. They're going for a lobby crush, and now they're going to have so much information.
Oh, they're going to be so aware of exactly everything that is occurring into this round. This is quite horrendous, to say the least. Luckily, Max was lying in wait, but his stealthy play isn't going to be paying off and getting him anything too fantastic into this round as they do a bit of hardcore parkour, take control over towards the A site, and want to work their way back in as they've essentially conceded sides of the map.
They've gone for the lobby crunch. They've made noise. Max heard them rushing in towards lobby, and he's going to have the information to work with and relay back to his team.
Fasha now, up top, waiting for the correct moment to strike. Jay-Z as well, spots out Max. Oh, gets him low, but couldn't quite finish him off there as he'll survive with 31 HP remaining into the round. Still a 5 versus 4.
Exactly, 5 versus 4, and Endpoint are waiting for everyone to come together. They're waiting for the group to happen, for Max to be ready to go for the luck and the pincer play in from A main and Heaven.
Oh, Max on the Molotov to try and open it up as they will start to push their way around. Max actually looking a little bit panicked here, and he does go down. Kevzy strikes hardest with a CZ and will take him down, leaving them in a very awkward position. They want to try and get these trades back, but they're actually peeking quite wide for the firefights and really overextending for this. They want it quite badly, and it does start to work out as Fasha gets one. Imi as well, taking down Barber. They're hungry for more, but Kevzy will put an end to Imi's reign of terror.
2 versus 3, no kit run out for the CT side, but there was a kit invested by Eric. Can they try to retrieve that if they want to go for this one? As there is a chance now, it's a 2 versus 1. Thomas and Stan are taking out the server. Fasha now last alive.
Fasher just needs to hold at this point. If they do overextend round, just kill them there. There's no way they can actually get the defuse
there's
off,
no time
so at least they can back off. So that could have been awkward.
Could have been indeed. I mean, I believe one of the reasons why we saw those players pushing was because they knew the round or the bomb was far too ticked down. There was no chance for them to win it. So 14 to 11, Epsilon went for the 4-buy. They went for the 4-spy, used everything they had left in their savings, and unfortunately, everything wasn't quite enough. Most likely here, an eco for 15. Try bring it back from 15 to 11. Obviously, if you save here, you've lost rounds to the trot, you can have a decent round loss bonus. Going forward, yeah, they don't care. They just want to buy and buy and buy and buy again and again and again. They want to keep investing. It's a high risk to play because on your CT side, utility is crucial. Obviously, lots of late round plays coming out from Endpoint where it goes down to the wire. There's a distinct lack of utility to fend off Endpoint towards outside. They're not smoking out A main. They're not mulling out towards ramp or mulling the pushes. Instead, they're walking into the crosshairs of Endpoint. Talking of crosshairs and headshots, Jay-Z finds the first. It's finally going to be a man advantage for Epsilon. We haven't really been saying that too much this game.
It's true. Endpoint have actually been playing quite effective on their T-half as well as their CT half play now as they work into this round. Kevzy actually strikes first and takes down Imi, so it's just 3 Musketeers remaining. It's Stanley, Thomas, and Max as the B site is under a heavy hit from the side of Endpoint. Let's see if they can actually secure too much with this. Molotov start to be thrown around the gaff as they have secured site control. That bomb will go down. Stanley just fall to Barbar there as he pushed straight in. The dink comes out from Zinken as well with not 1 but 2 frags as he finds those headshots, and they do get round number 12.
More like Dinkin as he finds both of those headshots. 14 to 12. As the 4-spy finally does pay off for Epsilon. High risk, high reward, and that reward being the round claimed and not allowing Endpoint as well to get to 15. So it's still going to be an even playing field going forward. So, what are we going to be seeing in terms of the buy from Endpoint after just losing a round? Obviously, I believe they won, gosh, was it 3 in a row? I think it was 11-11, I'm not quite too sure. Maybe it was 2 in a row, who knows. But they had enough to consistently chain rounds together, build up their money so they can continuously buy, even if they lose rounds, which they just did. So it will be the 5 AK buy coming out once again, but look at the lack of utility run out for Stan. So, if they're lacking utility across the board, how's it going to favour?
You got the AWP coming out on Jay-Z as well. It's been interesting to see how powerful that can actually be at stopping angles and just actually really locking plays down early if they want to extend more with that.
Precisely, obviously. With that AWP, how is he going to be using it? We saw Imi and Thomas using it to great effect. Imi having very good positioning towards secret stairs and outside and the A site and heaven. Thomas as well playing far back at CT spawn and towards ramp. Imi though, speaking of him, will be going for the challenge versus Kevzy.
Oh, trying to run the risk. Stan actually gets into the back, but it is Imi that kills him as they distract him, working as a dastardly duo as they now make their play up towards A. They have everything they need to get in there. They have the smokes, they have the nades. Let's see if they can secure this and actually brute force the defense that's there. Zinken is going to be a little bit of a nuisance. Oh, Jay-Z actually tiptoeing around as well. Could try and go for an info play here.
Stanley is holding the angle. It all comes down to who lands that first bullet. Jay-Z misses. But here's the information that they could be towards heaven now.
Actually backs off though, doesn't want to reface, doesn't want to try and run that risk of peeking into him again. He is just going to get out of there and concede that. Imi's already got up as well, so the rest of his teammates now coming through. Looks like they're going to send 3 players in through main, and Imi and Stanley try and peek from upper as Zinken holds the angle though, gets one, success the second as he will find him. But is he ready for the burst? It is now coming for his front door as they sprint their way in, ready for more. But Zinken is just annihilating everyone. It's beautifully done. It's a 1v2 now for Max as he's last alive. Peeks round, gets the initial frag, takes down Eric, and it's all on Jay-Z. Switches out to the AK as he wants to play with the rifle and show how rampant he can be with this deadly Kalashnikov. Flashbang out for Max here as he waits for the correct timing though. Forced his hand a little bit as the Molotov comes in, but he's still keeping his wits about him. Peeks through, Max gets it so low, but still fights through the pain. Max locks it down this time.
Match point now for Endpoint, and they're going to have 3 chances to close this one out in regulation as well. Epsilon need to chain 3 rounds on the trot if they want to be forcing OT. Obviously going forward, what happens in the last half makes no difference, means nothing. I actually feel like even if this goes to OT, Jack Endpoint have the advantage because think about the buffer of rounds that Epsilon have had with their pistol round wins. Obviously, they had 1 in the first half and 3 in the second, so you're looking at a 4-round lead anyway just because of the pistols. And of course, into the overtime, that means nothing. Regardless though, Is this the final round of this first matchup? Will Endpoint claim the victory?
Well, let's see as the push is coming around. Fasher with the early opener as he takes down Kevzy, striking with that AK-47. JC and Co are ready for more, though, as the response will start to flood back through. Look at the damage done on Thomas as well. He's very supple right now, very squishy.
Is that a fat joke?
No, it isn't.
Okay. Maybe I made that one instead. 13 HP there for Thomas. Of course, he's still alive and kicking. He will be the key right now for Eric and JC Walkins. He hasn't got the ult this time, as well as you said before. Minute left on the clock, as it seems like Endpoint are going to be going back to the drawing board, back towards lobby, as they slow the pace of this round down. They're allowing Mighty Max to have his gander towards ramp, but unfortunately, aiming across the map goes down to Barbar.
Nice kills coming through there as they do leave them with just 3 players remaining. Obviously, Thomas still very low as well as they have that control towards ramp now. Going to barrage their way down and attempt to secure side. Can they actually overthrow the defense? Not looking likely as everyone falls short. It's all on Max. Can he do it? Not today. Will fall short there. Goes down to Eric as he actually will strike against him. So Max is going to be sent off on a date with the coroner.
2 rounds now separating these 2 teams in this first matchup. 15-13. The play from Endpoint, they had the first kill, they had the man advantage towards outside, they slowed the pace down, they go towards Secret, but this time we saw a full rotation from Epsilon towards B, and you can see the difference it's really had. It's quite funny when you see and you contrast the difference of CT sides, where Endpoint were very fast to rotate, Epsilon were quite reluctant and hesitant to rotate, as obviously they're wary of fakes and whatnot. But I don't think Eric's going to realize this isn't a fake.
No, this is not too good for him as well. Forced to fall back immediately as they are thunderfooting their way through a stampede of hungry elephants as they burst in towards this B-bomb site, dealing deadly blows. The only response is Barbar, as he will be able to find 1 frag, ready for more as well. As Thomas speaks towards him, they're peeking 1 by 1. This isn't really the optimum strategy. Luckily, Fasher was in the rear. Barbar seemed completely unaware.
3 versus 3 kits right now for the CT side. They have a smoke as well to try and use that with a defuse. Zinkin will find the frag onto Fasher. And now Imi, the Argentine captain, lacking Kevlar, is the one with the AK.
Might be walking into his own demise though as he peeks round. Kevzy had the angle held. Jay-Z as well takes down Mighty Max. And they now have 40 rounds on the board. They are 1 away from equalizing the scoreline and taking us to overtime here on Nuke.
Bomb was planted for Endpoint, so it's extra $800 going forward into this final round. Or is it just one of many to come if this goes to OT? Are Endpoint going to try and change the pace? They've played very slow CS. Are they suddenly going to go for a ramp rush? A smokes towards outside into a lobby. Execution towards upper. A fast play towards heaven. Try swarm outside. Let's see if they're going to up the tempo into this one.
What are they actually going to bring to the table here? What will be their last-ditch attempt on this regulation time here?
Smokes towards outside once again, but not going to be faking or doing anything mischievous with it. Kevzy towards heaven. Can he peer over it? Can he find the entry? Spots up the play, but he can see he's a bit wary to fully commit as Imi has bought a shotgun.
He has indeed, and he's going to blow the doors off him. So let's see what he can achieve as the big man comes in. As he wants to try and shut them down a notch with this aggressive over the shotgun. He's mastered the art of jumping now as well in the elevated angle. Let's see if it actually will work out for him as he pushes round. Jay-Z surely will not be suspecting such a play.
Barbar, though, towards Secret Steps, coming from behind, catches the bomb from Thomas. 4 versus 3, though. Regardless of the well-timed push coming out from the captain of Epsilon, still going to be the advantage in the core of Endpoint. Minute left to play with, the bomb retrieved as well. As let's see, Jay-Z ready for the push towards heaven. Is he going to come down? Is he going to boil down just to this one vicinity here? Above the ladder at heaven.
They have utility. They can try and flash their way in. They can try and go for something. There's the pop flash. Oh, but he still lands it at a beautiful angle. As all he had to do was pull the trigger and take him down. Stanley with a double entry, though. Eric as well. Flicks around as he finds 2. He can try and take it overtime now. All he needs is his next frag, but Fasher denies it as he's fast and furious. 16-40 will be the scoreline. They deny the overtime potential, and they will go through, securing the max amount of points from that matchup.
Things were a little bit too close down to the final round for Endpoint. Nevertheless, though, congratulations to the UK team. I believe they are now secured in playoffs. 16-14 victory here versus the likes of Epsilon, as they may be one of the favourites going into the playoffs right now.
Oh, definitely so. That looked very nicely played as well, considering that's really the first time we've ever seen them play Nuke. For what it was against a team like Epsilon, looked consistent, good display on their CT half, and nice to finish it out on their T half there.
Thing is, well, both these teams are fielding subs, I guess. Obviously, Barbar coming in for the Gfinity Elite Series this week. Obviously, before it was Krilly that was subbing in. But so far, so very good coming out from the likes of Endpoint. Let's see how they favour going forward.
Yeah, see what they can do from that point.
Right then.
Anyway.
Gentlemen, what a match we just had. It went toe-to-toe, back and forth, but in the end, Endpoint managed to get that win. That's what you expected, a clean sweep. Harold, you said Endpoint were going to win. Esther, you said you must be feeling very good on the basis that you got that prediction correct.
Yeah, definitely. It's always good to get predictions right, especially as I went against them last week. This week favoured them, and it was a good win. Like, there was a lot of close rounds, though, obviously, but get the win. Just go top 3, I believe, in the playoffs now.
Yeah, so it worked for Endpoint going for Nuke. They got that win over Epsilon, who have looked very strong, kind of potentially winning another title at Season 2 of the Elite Series. But Endpoint stood in their way, and who kind of impressed you out of them?
I mean, it was a fantastic performance across the board. Max had some great clutches. There was some great stuff from Stan in that first half. Imi, pretty consistent. It started off really well. Maybe mid-game was a little standard, but at the end picked it up again. Thomas as well on those eco rounds was an absolute monster, and Fasha had some great rounds. Overall, Endpoint, they went above and beyond and performed there.
Yeah. To take that 15th round is the main man, Mighty Max. He's just joining me now. Didn't even wait for his call out. That's what I love about him.
Love him.
He was peeking, and then he thought, no, I'm going to go for the push. Lovely work from you, Mighty Max. I'm going to grab that. I'm going to take that, and I'm going to give that to you, sir. That is your mic. Mighty Max, you must be feeling great after that win.
Yeah. We sort of knew Nuke would be a potential map, and we didn't actually expect it in this match, but it was just a 50-50 with us, to be honest.
Yeah, and at the beginning, when we saw Imi make that decision, came down to Mirage or Nuke. Have you been working on Nuke, or did he? Because he started giggling and didn't stop, so...
Nah, we researched Epsilon, and we figured out what their best maps were, and it came down to Mirage, which is one of their better maps, so we just thought we'd risk it on Nuke.
Brilliant, and it definitely paid off. Is that a normal thing in terms of CS and doing sort of like sort of mind games like that, SEO?
I feel like in best ones, there's all kinds of mind games in the Vita. You kind of know it's going to go down to like 3 maps, and obviously it was Mirage or playing Nuke. So.
Yeah, it definitely paid off. Some of the best moments from that matchup with Epsilon we can show you right now, Mighty Max, and see what you make of this, because there was an epic thing from you, sir. Did that clutch to make it 15 rounds for yourself. But talk us through some of these moments, because you won't have necessarily seen them.
Well, with the anti-eco one, we knew that they wouldn't have strats because they wouldn't have played Nuke either. So we realised that they could only go to like 2 places, and I managed to get, I think, 4 kills in that one. Throughout the T side, we knew as well, like, we have smokes that we can use, and like what they were doing on their T side, they were smoking outside, coming down, or going back to upper. So we basically replicated what they were doing, but we managed to win like the anti-eco rounds and more important rounds, stuff like that. And we won a few clutches and got a bit unlucky on some, so...
So really, so I love that, because sometimes we assume that, just go for it, you back your skills on a set map, but you sussed out Epsilon, knew they wouldn't be as strong on Nuke, and you delivered.
Yeah.
Simple as that, beautiful. And in terms of knowing exactly where the players were going to be and whether they go for B or A, you kind of worked that out as a team and discussed that.
Yeah, so before the game, we had to come up with like a game plan quickly because it was Nuke, and when we were playing, because Nuke's like a strange map because you have the bomb sites above each other, it's quite hard to listen to where they are and like call where they are, so we had to be confident in each other that we trust each other's calls and stuff like that, so we managed to trust each other and get the win.
Yeah, indeed. Now, we chatted about some of the player stats on Endpoint, like Thomas, who's done very well when he arrived back. Cuban Thomas, that's how we refer to him now. And then Stanley, you must be impressed with Stanley. You must be happy to have him on your side rather than going against him.
Yeah, for sure. Even last season when we played against him, when he was playing for Method, it was always like you don't know what to expect of him. Like, he would just drop 30 bombs on you and stuff like that.
Yeah, 27 frags today. What did you make of Harold? What did you make of Stan's play today?
I mean, it's fantastic. There was all sorts going on across the board, and I'm sure it has a tremendous factor on the rest of the team.
Oh, because his name's Tremaine.
Oh, where's the camera? There's no camera.
There's no camera. I was going to look. You couldn't give the look. You couldn't give the look there. It is tremendous play, but all round as a team, we talked about the fact now living together. You didn't know much about the garden, but I'm not going to hold that against you at all. Yeah, it's not the season for it, is it?
It's the secret garden.
It's a secret garden. Okay, good. It is. But you know this. Don't tell anyone. Don't tell anyone about the secret garden. But you're playing as a team, and without Jakey, did that sort of put you off in any way, shape, or form, or you had it all under control?
No, because Jake wasn't here, we had to just try not to tilt as much as we normally would. So like everyone was just saying, like, calm down, we got this. We knew because it was Nuke and there wasn't really that much pressure on us to win the game, we had like a more relaxed feeling as well, which helped.
Now, we move on. Not right now, there's 3 other games for today, for week 6. But week 7 for Endpoint, taking on Prophecy. Does Mighty Max see that as a win for next week?
I think it should be a win for us, yeah. But I think we've made playoffs now, so it's not an important game for us. So we're gonna.
Are you seeing a man take his foot off the gas just a little bit, a little bit?
That's what we said last time, and you got knocked out of playoffs because of it. They said not an important match.
But I guess every match is important, but we'll look to win still.
So what will you do to make sure that everyone's on point with that? I mean, it was nice to see Weber's here. He's waiting in the wings, ready to come on board. But it was good. You seem you've got that cohesion, that synergy as a team. So surely all of you are going to say, look, no one take their foot off the gas.
Yeah, for sure. We're going to still treat it as any other game, but we just have that in the back of our heads that we have made playoffs. So there's no reason to get angry or like overthink anything when we play, which is nice.
Now, I don't know if you heard Barbar on the other side of the Gfinity arena, but if you didn't, don't panic because Lottie is having a chat with him right now. What does he make of that loss?
Yep, don't panic, Tom. I do have him with me right now. I mean, what do you make of that loss? Because it's a CT-sided favoured map. And the boys on Endpoint were really pushing hard. Their headshots were great. They were communicating really well. Teamwork was great as well. How hard was it for you guys to seal the deal and get that win? Because it was quite close at the end as well.
Yeah, first of all, the map was a little bit sketchy for both of us. You know, it turned out to a little bit of a clown fiesta. You know, but in general, I think I'm not playing to my standards. I think I have many reads on them, but I'm not playing to my standards, and that's probably why we lose the game. Also, I take that one, you know, and just get back practicing. We are a young team, you know. There's players that haven't been on LAN tournaments before, like really big ones. So we take it as it comes. You know, we still have a good shot on the playoff, depending on the games. But yeah, next time, huh?
Are you enjoying being back on the roster, being back on the team? Are you gelling well together? You say not playing as good as you usually would. Why is that?
No, I don't know, actually. Sometimes you play bad, you know, and then that's how it is. You know, Nuke is not my favorite map, really, either, you know. But no excuses. Next time I got to play better, and hopefully we can win next time, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Well, hopefully MV don't win, so then you'll be through to the playoffs. But next week, let's get that win against MV, and then you will be through. But thank you so much, Barbara, for your time. Tom, it's back to you.
Thank you so much. Like, you're just over my shoulder. There you are. And there's Barbara as well. Herald, SEO, thank you so much. Mighty Max, congratulations for that win. Just to remind everybody, our first match of week 6 was Endpoint taking on Epsilon on the magnificent, magical map of Nuke, and it finished 16-14. The game is in the bag, and all the bragging rights are now with Endpoint.